This is going to be a heavy one. The Hana Hana no Mi, also known as the flower fruit, has nothing to do with flowers, but it's a Paramecia type devil fruit that belongs to Nico Robin, the archaeologist of the Straw Hat crew. This fruit grants Robin the ability to sprout multiple body parts on almost any surface, including the user's own body, and they can manipulate said body parts remotely as if they were an extension of their own body. Since the user is practically the only one who knows where the limbs will sprout, they almost always have the element of surprise. Before the time skip, Robin was capable of sprouting up to 100 arms at once. After the time skip, Robin's basically able to sprout up to 1,000 body parts at once, melding them into gigantic limbs. There is a couple weaknesses to this fruit, where one of them is that any damage received by the sprouted body parts is transferred to Robin's real body. And this not only includes injury or strain, but also effects of other devil fruits, meaning that if a devil fruit user has the ability to turn you into a toy, and you grab her by her leg and that devil fruit user touches that sprouted limb, that will affect Robin's real body, turning her into a toy. Another weakness of Robin's devil fruit is that she needs to be able to see the object or what it looks like for her to effectively sprout her limbs on there. Robin's fighting style is that of mostly just submission or grappling or grabbing or some sort of wrestling to tie down her opponents, immobilize or disarm. So she'll sprout arms and easily be able to disarm her opponents. Robin's name for her techniques follow a pattern. First, she'll always say the number of arms or legs that she'll sprout in Spanish, followed by the word fleur, which means flower in French. So here are a bit of examples of her techniques. Dos fleur is basically her just sprouting like 2 arms. Cinco fleur, which is essentially just 5 arms, and so on and so forth. Goes up to 20, 16. We got 30. And 80, and essentially since she could only go up to 100 pre-time skip, so her max pre-time skip would be 100 fleur. And she also has some really other type of techniques that essentially she can just do anything with these arms, like wings, where she'll essentially put a bunch of like arms together and it'll look like basically wings will grow out of her back, or spider net, where she put a bunch of arms together and use it as a big net. She can also sprout other body parts such as ojos fleur, which is essentially just eyes flower. So she'll sprout eyes somewhere, or pierna fleur, where she'll put legs. After the time skip, it's essentially just the same thing, but now she's able to create huge versions of arms or legs or anything like that. So where she'll put gigantesco mano, if she'll create giant arms, or mil fleur, which is just 1,000 arms. Now I can't go on without talking about these next 2 abilities, but these 2 are basically her important ones. Gigante fleur, which means giant flower. Robin sprouts a giant copy of her upper body and several additional giant limbs from the floor behind her. This was first used against Black Maria. Now here is really where her basically current main like super OP ability is. Demonio fleur, which means demon blooming. A technique similar to Gigante Fleur, Robin sprouts a giant copy of her upper body, but this time her double features, she'll sprout bat-like wings, shaded skin, fangs, and horns, giving it the appearance of a traditional evil demon, which may intimidate the opponent and cause them to lower their guard. This was first used against Black Maria in the Wano arc. Grand Jacuzzi Clutch, which is an ability that her Demonio Fleur has. After the target is locked into an inescapable grappling hold, the Demonio finishes them off with clutch, essentially breaking her back. And also, just so that you guys can see this, because if I saw this, you guys have to see it too. But Oda drew what if a hairy person ate the fruit. There you go.